Have you ever wondered what a complete lens collection looks like? Well, it looks something kinda like this. A 14-24 f2.8, 24-70 f2.8, 50mm 1.2, a 135 f1.8, 180-600 f5.6 to 6.3, an 800mm f6.3, and the Nikon Z8. And if you were to start all the way over in your photography career, maybe you're even starting fresh right now, which one of these lenses would you want to start with first? Which one would you buy first? Which one would you buy second? And how long do you think it would take you to amass such an absolute arsenal like this one? Would it take you 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? And I think we can all agree that the coolest lens in this whole lineup has to obviously be the 14-20, nah, I'm just playing. It's the 800mm prime lens. When is it the right time to invest $6,000 into a piece of glass like this one? Well, what if I told you that all the gear that you see right now was purchased within 1 year of shooting photographs? And I wish it was me, but it's not. All this gear actually belongs to my really good friend Jim, who was gracious enough to lend me some of his gear. That's right, this isn't all of it, for the purpose of this video, which is to talk a little bit about investing in photography. Now, I want to keep Jim's life story private, but I will say he discovered his love for photography, more specifically wildlife photography, much later in life than a majority of us did. I've actually been helping Jim since he started shooting photos. I helped him pick out his first camera, helped him pick out his first lens to run with, some of the basics on how to use them on the technical side of things. And just the other day, he invited me out to our local zoo to test and try out his brand new, recently purchased 800mm prime lens. And how could I say no to that? I started shooting when I got my first camera, the Canon Rebel T5i, when I was 15 years old. He bought his first camera a few years away from retirement. And as soon as he started shooting, he realized that this was the missing piece. This is what he wants to do for the rest of his life. Travel, take amazing photos of nature and life around the country, and there was no better time to invest in photography than right now, because time is not gonna wait for him. And I'm no wildlife photographer, but me and this lens now have a special bond, and I was able to take some of the most amazing photos that I think I've ever taken before. So when he offered to lend me his gear for the purpose of this video, I actually really struggled to pick a topic to talk about. Mainly because there's just so many amazing pieces of equipment sitting here right now, I just didn't really know where to start. Each one of these lenses has an amazing ability and opportunity to do something creative, and each one is a specific tool for a very specific purpose that each require their own video to really go deep and in depth with. But after taking a step back, looking at some of these zoo photos that I was able to take, getting the chance to play with these amazing pieces of equipment that I probably will never buy for myself, mainly because I just don't have a need for this kind of kit. It all stemmed from a friendship between two photographers looking to help each other out. Yes, this gear is fantastic, but honestly, it's useless unless you know how to use it, which is where I have been helping Jim. And in return, he is very open to lending me his super professional and very expensive equipment for my own needs, and I never thought I'd be able to use this stuff in the field before. When you start this craft at a young age, especially when you're not sure where life is going to take you quite yet and how serious you want to take photography, whether it's just going to be a hobby or a full-on career that you're going to chase, I would always recommend starting with the absolute basics. A cheap camera that gets the job done well enough to practice and learn on, and make sure that it's something you really want to invest in before you go heavy with some of this stuff. For the longest time early in my journey, I was shooting on this Canon 80D with a 24-70 f4 lens. And I didn't know where photography would take me, so I used this camera to learn on. It's a pretty basic and user-friendly camera, so it was great to learn all the fundamentals that I could then take for my next camera and my next upgrades when things got a bit more serious. Now that photography is my full-on career, I've gotten to learn my style, what works for me, what's necessary for me, and now I can make smarter decisions on what to invest on next. But not everybody has the luxury of time to practice, or even has that many questions to answer about what kind of kit they need or want to take the type of photos they want to do. In Jim's case, he knows exactly where he's going to be in the coming years, and he knows exactly the types of photos that he wants to take that require very specific tools to achieve. So investing in this heavily into your gear as a beginner is probably not something a lot of people would be able to do. But in this specific case, I would agree that although a lot of people can't do it, if you're able to, maybe you should. After 1 year of investing into photography, I was able to witness my friend start with one camera and one lens, neither of which he knew how to use, and I was able to teach him, guide him, show him the ropes, and now he's become one of the most inspiring wildlife photographers that I think I will ever know. And this is just the start of his journey too. In a few years' time, I know Jim will be on the road, traveling the country, taking amazing photos as a seasoned photographer for the rest of his life. And if I'm lucky, maybe I'll even be able to join him on one of those crazy adventures. And that's pretty exciting to think about. So to end this video off, I hope the message is loud and clear that photography is not a linear path, and depending on where it takes you will dictate what decisions are right and which ones are wrong, especially when investing in your gear. But no matter where you are in your photography journey, it's never a bad time to meet other photographers and work with them. Everyone has a different story, a different lifestyle, a different approach, different gear that you may not be familiar with. And I know damn well all photographers love to do is talk about what they know. Not to mention there are so many amazing photo clubs, online communities, photo walks, and expeditions, even in smaller towns like mine here in Ohio. And all it requires is a quick Google search to find some of this stuff. I would love to see any photo communities that you guys are a part of in the comment section so that I and the other people watching this video can check out. This next year, I plan to not only invest more into my own photography gear, but invest more of my time and effort into meeting as many other fellow creators as possible, because I think the opportunity and the potential growth speaks for itself. If you guys made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you, and a huge thank you to the small community of you guys that have already subscribed to this channel. There's more of you out there than I ever thought there would be. So a huge thank you, and I really do appreciate every single one of you guys. And if you aren't subscribed, if you would consider it for more refreshing content like this to hopefully inspire you, especially into the new year.